Morning, everybody. Just dropped the kiddos off at school. It is a chilly day. Yesterday was beautiful. It was like 60 degrees. We got to go and just play outside like it was spring already. It was wonderful. Today I want to discuss a couple of things. One of them is going to be pretty personal. I'll save that for the end so you don't have to suffer through my moping. The other, though, is really, I think, more important than it's going to sound like when I discuss it. And that is the effect of parasocial relationships. If you don't know, a parasocial relationship is the type of relationship you have with a celebrity. It's not a relationship. They don't know you. You don't know them. You've never met this person. And yet, how many people trust celebrities far more than their own family members? See, here's why. They know their family members. And this is a trap that people fall into when they don't often think deeper than, whatever emotion is coming to the front. So they know. I'll use an example from my own life. My mom trusts Fox News hosts, I'm going to stop with the air quotes, far more than she trusts me. That's because she knows me. She knows the failures I've had. She knows the stupidity I've involved myself in. Whereas with the newscaster casting a spell on her, she only knows what they present. So she gets this air of authoritative information. It's false. Even if the information is true, the idea that that person disseminating it is authoritative, it's a charade, just like or charade if we're American, just like in Pigs by Pink Floyd. Ha ha, charade you are. That's what it is, man. They're fucking plastic. And they don't even try to hide it. They literally hide behind plastic. They don't want you to see the fact that they're aging. They don't want you to see the fact that they have a mole. Because if you do, they stop being gods, don't they? They start being human. They start being fallible. They start being real. Why do we trust these people? I don't. But I'm going to say we as part of the human race here. Why do we trust these people? And here's the other thing. So many people will say, oh, I love Jim Carrey. I love Keanu Reeves. He's such a good person. He's so nice. Is he? Sure, he might be. But my question is, how do you know? How do you know? And that goes back to a video I made a little while ago where I asserted that we don't really truly know anybody. We know the program that we run for that person in our own operating system. My mom doesn't know me. She knows the program of me. And that's not me. It has some similarities, but it's just like if you asked a computer to make a digital twin of you. Sure, they could make all of the outward appearances one-to-one. They could make, your farts smell like your farts if you got smell-o-vision. But they can't get your thoughts, can they? They can't get those things that you never say to anybody. They can't get your shame. They can't get the things that make you you. And either, unless you share it, either can the people that know you. And even if you share it, you're only sharing your perspective of it, and they are only understanding it through their perspective. And that's really important, because for someone like me, I've been through a lot in my life. And I can say to somebody who has not been through a lot that, for instance, being homeless in Colorado was one of the most important life lessons that I've ever learned. Or here's another one. Failing failing college. I learned so much more from that. People don't understand that. They see that as a weakness. But is it really? I believe strength is the ability to take a negative aspect, learn from it, and once you do learn from it, it's no longer a negative occurrence, is it? It turns into a positive. That's alchemy. That's how you turn lead into gold. And these are things, another thing that really bugs me that's become very prevalent on the internet is if you try and teach somebody something or offer a perspective that has come from years of lessons and research and failure and mockery and self-derision, you try and offer a little nugget of that wisdom you've gained, and the only response you get is, link? Got a link? No, I don't have a link. You know why? Because I didn't learn it from a link. I learned it from this game we call life, and it took me many years. It lost me most of my hair. It yellowed my teeth, and it made my back hurt. And it gave me a crippling drug addiction that was nearly impossible to shed. So no, I don't have a link. My mind is the link. And that's it, though. That's really what it is, because if it doesn't come from an identifiable celebrity, somebody on the internet that they know, it mustn't be true. And that's the authority trap, or the expert trap. It's a fallacy. It's a logical fallacy, which asserts that truth can only come from those who are labeled experts. And are they really experts? What makes them experts? What makes them experts in their own mind is that they sat and memorized somebody else's work. That's it. I mean, if you go to a high school chemistry teacher and ask them to make you a blue chemical, most of them won't know how to do it. They might be able to tell you the steps as it's written down, but you ain't gonna get a Walter White out of that, man. They don't know what they're talking about. And so I had this discussion on, I don't know what. Oh, I didn't actually have a discussion. That's right. I was reading a discussion on the Illinois subreddit, where I'm originally from. I was born in Pekin, Illinois, adopted at birth, and moved to Wheaton, Illinois, which is just a tyrant hellhole. Ironically, has the most churches per capita of anywhere else in the United States. Go figure. And it's also the home to the Theosophical Society. Go figure. And I got closer to God by seeking Him through the Theosophical Society than I ever got from church. You know why? Because I was able to find God. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is everybody on the Illinois subreddit was just mercilessly mocking parents who want to homeschool their kids. Now, what's astounding to me about that is those same people don't trust the government. Those same people protest ICE at every opportunity they have. Those same people realize that there are psyops abounding, and yet they think that it's preferable to send their children to go sit for 8 hours and get their ears tickled by their enemy. How is that logical? And I came to terms with something pretty heavy yesterday. I can't do anything about it. I can't do a single thing. I won't be able to change any minds. And that's not because of my failure. It's because they don't want their minds changed. And even to a greater degree, I don't believe that they're living in the same reality that I am. Your reality is merely a projection of your mind, which goes back to the whole nobody will ever truly know you. They know their image of you because from their perspective, you are merely a projection of their mind. And that's facts. That's what leads people to solipsism, which is the idea that only the I exists. There's nothing else. And you can't disprove solipsism because each individual is incapable of proving that everybody else is real because of the fact that we only see them externally, yet you only see life through your own eyes. You don't see yourself externally. You don't even see you how other people see you. So it's a double-edged sword. You, to your mom, are a completely different person than you are to your dad. And you, to your dad, are a completely different person than you are to your grandmother. They each know this person that they call by your name, but it's not the same person. And that goes kind of back to the there idea where words have multiple meanings, right? And what are we but a word, but a wish? A whisper of something higher, right? That's kind of what we are. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. I believe I quoted that correctly. This is kind of cheesy, but life is language. The reality is a construct built on language. We put that to the side for a second. Let's go to a witch's circle. They do rites, R-I-T-E-S, by speaking spells or writing spells in cursive. Curses. And there's another, and oftentimes it comes from a grimoire. We use grammar. It's all the same thing. And so what we're doing when we're speaking is we are casting spells. That's why newscasters, their job is language. They cast spells on you. That's why you can't argue against somebody who truly believes the news. You can't. The other day, my dad came up to me, or not came up to me, I was talking to him on the phone because he lives in Florida. But I was like, yeah, man, gas is going up super high right now. And he said, well, this is just a temporary boost to solve a long-term problem. Those aren't his exact words, but that was, I mean, it was such a headline that I hadn't heard the headline before, but I knew it was a headline because nobody speaks like that, right? That's a program that has been inserted into his brain. And I said, Dad, you just parroted Fox News at me. Those are not your words. Those are not your thoughts. That's a mind parasite. That's a fucking parasite, man. And when I told him, look, you argued that in 2003 as well, when gas went from 99 cents to $2.99 or $2 or whatever it was, it doubled. Got a lot higher. I don't know. I was 18. It was a long time ago. Actually, I was 16. Yeah. But even then, I watched those towers fall. I watched that ritual where two become one. I didn't know that it was a ritual, but I knew that it was bullshit. I knew that there was no way that Todd Beamer's widow would come speak at our school 3 months after her husband just died. That's insane. That's like Erica Kirk insane. And so anyway, I pressed back on it. I said, Dad, those aren't your words. I guarantee you that is a line you took directly from Fox News. And I said, why did gas never get lower? Why is it that I still have to take off my fucking belt if I want to fly on an airplane? Do people actually still think that TSA is for their own safety? Is to show you who's boss. I've been to jail. That's the booking process. They have you go through the entire booking process with the real ID and everything. They search you. They look at your naked body now. That's booking into jail. And yet nobody sees that. Nobody sees that TSA has a 95% failure rate at finding the things that they tell you is the reason that you have to humiliate yourself. They don't find it. They fail at it. But yet, for some reason, that tax money still gets spent on TSA failing to do that, because that's not the goal. The goal is never what they say it is. And that's just the sad truth. And that was kind of a tangent, but when I said that to my dad, there was no response, because he knows I'm right, and that's the cognitive dissonance. It's frightening to watch somebody who I used to be able to have philosophical discussions with, totally blocked off from their own mind. And so, man, I forget what the other thing that I wanted to discuss with. Oh yeah. So my sister, I don't speak to a lot. I wish I did. She's unwell. And for the last 10 or 15 years, she has been a vegan. But she doesn't know how to be a vegan. That's the problem. She doesn't eat anything made by animals. And now even her friends are telling her, Heather, you look way too thin. And I think she's dying. I think she's killing herself, because how long can a body handle being purposely starved? And she's not doing it for a better cause. She's martyring herself for an empty cause, and it's tragic to watch. And last night she had essentially a psychotic break, and I was texting her, and nothing she said made sense. She's telling me that my mom brings bugs from Florida, that, it's clearly just they're there because the house isn't clean. I'm not clean either, but I realize that any bugs that I have come from the fruit that I've left out. That's what happens. Then I don't think that she has much longer if she doesn't seek help. So I told my dad I need to do something for her, because nobody else does. She just fights them. She just fights my parents. And what my dad does is he is really good at diffusing situations. He's like, it's a superpower of his. But what he's not good at is actually solving a problem. So, yeah. While they're out in Illinois for my sister's birthday, for Heather's birthday, I already said it, fuck it. Things will be better. But then when they leave, she's going to go right back to starving herself. And so I'm still going to get involved. I'm still going to do what I need to do to save her life. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says, because I'd rather my sister never speak to me again than attend her funeral. She's 6 years younger than me. And he said, let me handle it. What? Yeah, he said, you don't know her like we know her. Man, I love my parents more than anything. But what they're not, I love my kids more than anything, actually. I love my parents very, very, very much, though. But what they're not good at, like I said, is solving problems. When I was a heroin addict, their way to solve the problem that was me going into withdrawal was to send me money to stop the withdrawal. And the way that one stops the withdrawal is to buy heroin. It was fentanyl, I'm sure. But I asked for help. I asked for help over and over. And this isn't me trying to put shame on them, because that's an impossible situation. But what you do is tough love, right? You say, I can't help you get high. I can't help you with that. But what I can help you do is get help. I will help you find a comfortable way, as comfortable as possible, so that you don't kill yourself. But that takes pissing people off, doesn't it? It takes a little bit of friction to get somebody to help themselves. But it doesn't come from enabling, and they will enable her and just ignore it until she dies. They will. And then if I do anything, I'll be looked at as the bad guy for actually trying and probably succeeding to get her help. I don't know what to do. I've plotted a pretty good path for how to get her committed into a program. But I don't want to do that. I've been to jail. I've been to psych wards when I was younger. And it doesn't matter what the facility is, being held against your will it's demoralizing. So it's always best that it comes from within. But in the words of Maynard, they won't believe you until it's far too late. And I don't want to get to that point. I'd rather have somebody alive hating me than loving me from the grave. If you have any advice, comments, like, share, subscribe, do that hokey shit, because I appreciate it. And I believe that at least one sentence that I've said probably will benefit somebody else. So, I don't want to hear from any new viewers about how I'm driving and talking. I'm not hurting anybody. Leave me out of it. If you can't speak and drive, that's on you. Have a great day, everybody.